1 ball, 2 strikes on Jake Blackwood. The Explorers come into tonight's game on a 3-game winning streak. Magic number is still 6 for the Explorers to clinch the Central Division. One ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Curveball, grounded, foul. Past third between the third base coach and the third base bag. And it stays a ball and 2 strikes on Jake Blackwood. Werder making his 10th start of the year for the Explorers. 49 innings. He has given up 50 hits, 33 strikeouts, 28 walks for the right-hander. Storm Lake, Iowa. Eric Werder. Runner at second base is Rodriguez. Werder pitch is down and away, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Understand, as far as the innings are concerned, they'll probably hang up the the numbers manually somewhere or another on the scoreboard. We'll see how that works. Electronically, though, the scoreboard is not operating. Pretty good storms went through here last night and really even earlier this morning. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Knocked down by Court. And he will not have a play. That'll be a base hit. Rodriguez goes to third and holds there. So Blackwood will get a base hit. An infield hit. Court went far to his right, knocked it down. Probably by knocking it down, at least saved a run for the time being. And this will bring up left-handed hitting Adam Bailey, the designated hitter. Bailey 1 for 5 in this series, .316 average, 12 home runs, 60 RBIs for the left-handed hitter. So first and third with 1 out here in the top of the first inning for Kansas City. Infield, double play depth, and the pitch. Takes it high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Kansas City and Joplin are currently tied for that wild card spot in the American Association playoffs. Kansas City is, of course, trailing the Explorers coming into tonight. 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Adam Bailey. Explorers coming into tonight's game with a 16-game lead, or make that a 17-game lead over Kansas City. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bailey at the plate, swing and a miss, and it's strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rodriguez over at third. He was safe on an error by Kelgard, the first baseman, leading off here in the first inning, and a 1-out single by Blackwood. He's at first. It was an infield hit. So it's first and third with 1 away. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. In there for strike 3 call. Big out there. Big strikeout for Werder. That's the second out of the inning with runners still at first and third for Robbie Coosdale. Coosdale, right-handed hitter. He's 2 for 8 in this series, .248 average, 10 home runs, 37 RBIs. So Rodriguez still at third, and Bailey is at first, or excuse me, Blackwood at first. Hit in the air. Who's going to call for it? Matty Johnson, the center fielder, coming in under it and makes the catch, and the inning is over. So here in the first inning for Kansas City, no runs. There was 1 hit, 1 error in the inning, and 2 left. After a half inning, our score, it's Kansas City 0. The Explorers are coming to bat on KSCJ.
Anyone want to see the best mascot in the entire league? Entering the stadium down here, Section A. Let's welcome the one, the only Slider. Sergeant Road. It's a great time to join the Iowa Lottery's free VIP club. Members can enter the 30-something promotion this month to win significant prizes, including 4 rounds of golf, an Iowa seasonal cheese package, over $1,000. Visit ialottery.com for details.
On the mound tonight for Kansas City will be Bobby Duran. Duran with a record of 8 wins, 3 losses, making his 16th start of the year. Duran has faced the Explorers twice this year, and both times the Explorers beat him. Once at Kansas City on May the 28th, the Explorers beat him 3-1, and then here at Lewis and Clark Park on June the 2nd, Explorers beat him 9-8. Matty Johnson takes a strike, leading it off. Bunts it foul back to the screen, and it's strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes on Matty Johnson. 4 hits, 9 at-bats in the series for Matty Johnson. Hitting at .263, 2 home runs, 34 RBIs. Bobby Duran on the mound, the pitch. Fouled it back, and it stays. No balls, 2 strikes. Duran's last outing was last Wednesday at Lincoln. Lost that game 4-1. Went 6 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. Walked 2, struck out 7. The 0-2 pitch, swung on and foul, tipped, held by the catcher Marquez. And that's the first out here in the bottom of the first inning as Matty Johnson strikes out swinging. So 1 out. Brent Keys, 2 for 8 in the series, left-handed hitter. Keys hitting at .341. Tops on the ball club right now in batting average. Of course, this is his 23rd game to play in. And fouls it back off to the left, and it's strike 1. No home runs, 5 RBIs. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And it's no balls and 2 strikes on Brent Keys. Duran, a 6'6", 235-pound right-hander from Flower Mound, Texas. Here's a line drive, center field, base hit on an 0-2 pitch. So Keys with a 1-out single here in the first inning for the Explorers. Explorers come into this doubleheader leading the American Association in hitting with a .301 batting average. And Rene Tassoni coming up, left-handed hitter. Duran was a 4th-round draft pick of the Astros back in 2010 out of Texas Tech University. He has spent a lot of time at AA and at AAA. Last year he was at 2 different AAA teams in 2 different leagues. Pitched for Oklahoma City in the Pacific Coast League, which was a Houston farm club. He was 2-4 with Charlotte, North Carolina in the International League, and Chicago White Sox farm club, AAA. He was 5-2. The stretch by Duran, and Tassoni takes it down low for ball 1. Tassoni, .263 average, 2 home runs, 41 RBIs, 2 hits, 8 at-bats in a series. Keys at first with 1 out. Duran from the stretch, the big right-hander, will turn and throw to first, and Keys back without a tag. Year before last, in 2013, Duran was also at Oklahoma City and Corpus Christi. This is down low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. In 2013, with Oklahoma City, he was 3-0 at Corpus Christi that same year. He was 8-2, both of those, of course, in the Astros organization. 2 balls, no strikes on Rene Tassoni. Keys at first, 1 out. Duran, the stretch, there goes the runner, and the pitch is all the way back to the screen, but that'll be a stolen base because he was off and running with the pitch. So Keys will get a stolen base. He was running with that pitch anyway, and the pitch was thrown in the dirt, and so that was an easy stolen base for Keys, his 9th of the season, and now it's 3 balls and no strikes on Rene Tusoni. With Keys at second, and Duran's pitch right down the heart of the plate for a strike, and it's 3-1. Defensively tonight for Kansas City, Blackwood at first, Leon at second, Frias at short, Tenbrink at third. The outfield, Rodriguez, Coosdale, and Hayes left to right. Marquez doing the catching. 3 balls, 1 strike. Tusoni takes it low and outside. Ball 4, and that'll put him at first base. Keys at second, 1 out, brings Brock Kelgard to the plate.
1 out, batter number 33, first baseman.
Kelgard had himself quite a series, 5 for 9. Of course, all 5 hits came here on Saturday when he went 5 for 5 and drove in 4 runs. He's tied for 3rd in the league in the home run department now with 13. His batting average is now .311. Right-handed hitter. Duran's pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. No balls and a strike on Kelgard. 13 home runs, 58 RBIs on the year. Leads the ball club in both of those categories. Keys at second, Tusoni at first. Duran a long look back at second, and the pitch is inside and low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. No score. If you just joined us, we're in the first game of a doubleheader after a rainout last night. 2 7-inning games here this evening. Kansas City's last visit to Lewis and Clark Park this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss at a breaking pitch, and it's strike 2. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Brock Kelgard. So Duran threw him a breaking pitch down on the way, and Kelgard had a big cut at it, didn't get it, and it's a ball, 2 strikes. Keys getting his lead at second, Tusoni at first, and now Duran will spin and look Keys back to second base. No one was covering, no throw was made. Even the first baseman, Blackwood, is playing deep behind Tusoni, who's taking his lead at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kelgard. And the pitch. Swing and a miss at a breaking pitch. And Kelgard strikes out swinging. So 2 strikeouts here in the first inning for Duran. This will bring Noah Perillo to the plate. Perillo, left-handed hitter. Perillo is on an 8-game hitting streak. He's had 4 hits, 9 at-bats in this series. .326 average, 6 home runs, 55 RBIs. Duran, 86 in a 3rd inning, 62 strikeouts, 35 walks coming into tonight's game. Making his 16th start of the year. He's basically the ace of the staff for Kansas City. And Perillo takes it down low for ball 1. 1 ball to no strikes on Noah Perillo. So the Explorers have runners at first and second with 2 outs. 2 outs made in this inning, and both been strikeouts by the Kansas City right-hander Bobby Duran. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's a throwback to second, and back just with his hand on the bag ahead of the tag was Brent Keys. Vladimir Frias, the shortstop, was breaking over, took the throw, and it was close, but he got back with a hand ahead of the tag. 1 ball and no strikes on Perillo. Duran, the stretch to the plate. Down low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. No score. The Explorers and Kansas City. We are in the bottom of the first inning. They play Perillo as a pull hitter. They give him a lot of left center field. Runners take their leads, and the pitch. In the dirt, bounces away, but Keys broke toward third and then turned and went back to third base, and now it's 3 balls and no strikes on Noah Perillo. Ball didn't get quite far enough away for Keys to go ahead and try to take third base. Made 2 or 3 steps toward third and then stopped. Now it's 3 balls, no strikes on Perillo. And a strike, and it makes it 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike on Noah Perillo. Keys at second base. Tassoni at first with 2 out. 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So 2 walks in this inning along with a base hit, and the Explorers have loaded them up here in the bottom of the first inning. Keys moves on over to third. Tassoni down to second. Perillo's at first. And the batter will be Ryan Court, the second baseman. Court comes in hitting at .332. He's tied for 6th in the league in hitting. 6 home runs, 45 RBIs, comes in on an 8-game hitting streak. So Court will bat with the bases loaded and 2 out here in the bottom of the first inning, no score. Keys at third, Tassoni at second, Perillo at first. 2 out, the stretch by Duran, the pitch in the dirt for a ball. And it's 1 ball and no strikes on Ryan Court, who has had 2 hits, 8 at-bats in this series. Like Perillo, he's on a 8-game hitting streak. Duran set with the delivery. In there for a strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
There you go, babe.
Kansas City threatened in the top of the first inning. Had a base hit and a error charged to Kelgard at first, but first and third, but they did not score. Now the Explorers have the bases loaded. 2 out here in the bottom of the first. 1 ball, 1 strike on Court. Hits it in the air to right center field, but it's playable for Hayes. He'll make the catch, and the Explorers will leave the bases loaded. In the first inning, no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors, 2 walks, and 3 runners were left stranded. After 1 inning, it's the Explorers nothing and Kansas City nothing. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ. Takes me some getting used to. Top of the second inning, it will be Vladimir Frias will lead it out for Kansas City. Frias, who was injured back on July the 25th, hasn't played since then. Hitting at .327, 5 home runs, 19 RBIs, and takes it high and outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes on Frias. He is batting for the first time in this series. Gordy Kemper's pitch is low and inside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Frias, 4 hits, 20 at-bats against the Explorers in the previous games these two teams have played. And the Explorers have won 7 out of the 8 against the T-Bones up high, and now Werdekemper has fallen behind at 3-0. 3 balls and no strikes. Frias, Hayes, and Marquez to bat here in the top of the second inning. No score. Werdekemper to the plate. High ball 4, and Frias has walked on 4 pitches. So Frias down to first base, and Jacob Hayes will come up. Hayes, left-handed hitter. Hayes is hitting .226. 1 hit, 3 at-bats in this series. He has 1 home run this year, 10 RBIs. Let's see if he's up there to bunt with Frias at first base. Mendoza starting to charge at third. The pitch, he shows bunt. Takes it down low for ball 1. So Werdekemper has missed out of the strike zone on his first 5 pitches here in the top of the second inning. Breeze we have tonight is blowing kind of out of the north-northwest, blowing out to right field. Somewhere between 6 and 10 miles an hour. Let's see if Hayes is still up there to bunt. He doesn't show bunt and takes a strike. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike on Jacob Hayes. Outfield straight away on the left-handed hitter. Frias is at first. He's had 23 stolen bases this year, 27 attempts. So he's a threat to run. Nobody out here in the second inning. Werdekemper peering in to get his sign from Matt Coach, his catcher. And the 1-1 pitch, he bunts it. Off the mound comes Werdekemper. He'll throw to first. They get the out there. Down to second base goes Frias. So the sacrifice successful. 1-3 on the put out, and there's 1 away. Alex Marquez hitting a .288, no home runs, 6 RBIs. Marquez here on Saturday came in as a pinch hitter. Had 2 at-bats, had a single and a double, so he's 2 for 2 in this series. Right-handed hitting catcher, Alex Marquez. Frias at second base with 1 out. Werdekemper's pitch in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike on Alex Marquez. Werdekemper stops right above the belt. The pitch, swing and a miss. May have catcher's interference here, or was it? I thought the umpire was motioning toward first base, but Marquez still at the plate. So it's no balls and 2 strikes on Marquez. Frias at second base. Outside for a ball, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Alex Marquez. No score here in the top of the second inning. First game of a doubleheader. Both games are scheduled to be 7-inning affairs. Werdekemper looks back at second. 1-2 pitch. Nope, he will spin and look the runner Frias back to second. No one was hovering. Just wanted to try to cut down on his lead a little bit down at second base. The 2 hits that Marquez has against the Explorers are on his only 2 hits, only 2 at-bats he's had this year. Takes the pitch low, and it's 2-2. He's had 2 hits this year against the Explorers and 2 at-bats, and that came in the last game that these 2 teams played, and that was on Saturday. Again, last night's game was rained out. Doubleheader tonight. Werdekemper with a 2-2 pitch. Low, ball 3. So now it's going to a full count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Frias led off the inning with a 4-pitch walk, moved to second on a sacrifice bunt by Hayes. And now Marquez at the plate. A full count on him. Spreads out at the plate, crouches a little bit. And the pitch, strike 3 call. Marquez caught looking. Second strikeout for Werdekemper. And now there's 2 out with a runner at second. And the number 9 hitter coming up is Sergio Leon, who's had 3 hits, 6 at-bats in this series. .216 average, no home runs, 6 RBIs. Had not played against the Explorers until this series. There goes the runner to third, and the breaking pitch is high, and a stolen base by Frias, his 24th of the year. So Frias was off and running. No throw made by coach. It was a breaking pitch high anyway. 1 ball and no strikes. And he fouls it over the screen and out of the park, and it's a ball and a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Leon. Explorers playing this doubleheader tonight. They'll close out this homestand, and then the Explorers on the road starting tomorrow. Breaking pitch outside, and now it's 2 balls and a strike. Explorers will be at St. Paul tomorrow night. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday against the Saints. 2 balls and a strike on Leon. Down low and outside, and now it's 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike on the number 9 hitter, Sergio Leon. Over at third base is Frias. He's there with 2 outs. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Hit in the air to center field. Back on it goes Matty Johnson, turning, now turns back to his left and makes the catch. And the inning is over. For the second consecutive inning, Kansas City leaves a runner at third base. No runs in the inning. No hits, no errors. There was a walk and 1 left after an inning and a half. It's the Explorers nothing and Kansas City nothing. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ. Bottom of the second inning, Tommy Mendoza will lead it out for the Explorers. It'll be the bottom third of the batting order. Mendoza, coach, and Caldwell against Bobby Duran. Mendoza steps out of the batter's box and gets time before Duran can come to the plate. Mendoza tied for 6th in the league in hitting and fouls it back for strike 1. He and Ryan Court both hitting at .332. Mendoza with 3 home runs, 41 RBIs. Left-handed hitter. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, and it's strike two. No balls, 2 strikes on Mendoza. Explorers had a golden opportunity in that bottom of the first inning. Had the bases loaded, but 2 out, could not score. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Hit towards center field, and Coosdale, drifting that way to his right, will make the catch for the first out. So 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning for the catcher, Matt Coach. Coach hitting at .301, 4 home runs, 39 RBIs, 1 hit, 4 at-bats in this series. Right-handed hitter is Matt Coach. The pitch to Coach, and he takes strike 1. Coach hitting .333 this year against Kansas City pitching. Takes it inside, and it's a ball and a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Matt Coach. We have 1 out, nobody on here in the second. Coach takes it high, now it's 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. On deck, Tim Caldwell. Folks out here tonight in this early 5:05 start. Some light jackets on, a cool evening. Swing and a miss. That evens it up at 2 balls, 2 strikes on Coach. Temperature didn't make it out of the 60s today. There is rain again forecast for later this evening. We hope it's real late. Hit in the air to right field. Drifting is Hayes, back on it, now backpedaling and makes the catch, and that's the second out. So Coach flies out to right field. 2 out here in the second inning for Tim Caldwell. Caldwell, the designated hitter. .261 on the year with a home run and 22 RBIs, 1 for 6 in the series. And takes a strike. No balls and a strike on Tim Caldwell. He's bats in the number 9 spot in the batting order. 2 out, nobody on here in the second for the Explorers. Caldwell shows bunt and takes it outside. And it's 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Caldwell batting with 2 out and nobody on. Duran's pitch. Outside again, and it's 2-1. Two balls and 1 strike. Hit in the air off the left side. Tinbrink, the third baseman, over on the warning track and makes the catch for the out. A little treacherous over there, that wet warning track, but he stayed with it and made the catch. And the Explorers go down in order here in the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left after 2. The Explorers nothing and Kansas City nothing. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
If you like the seats you're sitting in, stop into the X's box office before you leave the game tonight and reserve it for the rest of the 2015 season. If you're looking for a company outing, maybe an event with a group of friends or a youth sports team.
They got Childs behind the plate. He wasn't supposed to be.
No, they changed it.
They changed?
Childs, Wilson, and Thurman.
Or call the
Yeah, it goes Childs, Wilson, and Wilson's at first, Thurman's at third.
That's 277.
Wilson's at first, Thurman's at third, Childs at the plate.
Wilson at Wilson at first.
Beverage allowed in Lewis and Clark Park.
I didn't realize it until I saw him take his mask
is a smoke-free facility.
I don't know.
Thank you for your cooperation.
But now for the second game, it's going to mess up.
One, left fielder, Carlin Rodriguez.
Top of the order for Kansas City here in the third inning. Rodriguez will lead it off. Tinbrink and Blackwood to follow against the Explorers right-hander Eric Werdekamper, who works out of the stretch. Rodriguez takes it down and away for ball one. Rodriguez safe on an error in the first inning, but was left stranded. First two innings, Kansas City has gotten runners to third base, but has not scored. Line drive caught by Mendoza. So Rodriguez lines out to Mendoza at third for the first out. And Nate Tinbrink popped up to Mendoza at third base in the first inning. Explorers had an opportunity in the first inning, had the bases loaded with two out, but failed to score. Tinbrink, left-handed hitter, and looks at a strike. No balls, one strike. Hits it toward center field. Matty Johnson going back on it now and reaches up, makes the catch, and that's the second out. So two out. And Jake Blackwood, who had a base hit in the first inning but was left stranded, will come up with two out. Explorers have had one hit, and so has Kansas City. Blackwood, right-handed hitter. Two out, nobody on. In the dirt, takes it for ball one. One ball to no strikes. Brian Childs behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Chance Wilson at first. Tyler Thurman is around at third base. One ball, no strikes on Blackwood. Takes the slider for a strike, and it's 1-1. 7:05 tomorrow night from St. Paul, then a 12:05, almost like high noon game, we'll have on Wednesday at St. Paul, and then 7:05 on Thursday. 1-1 pitch, almost hit him. Had to spin him off the plate, and it's ball two. Over the weekend, the Explorers will be down in Lincoln. That'll be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the Explorers are back here next Monday, the 24th. Two balls and one strike. Outside, and now Werdekamper has fallen behind. It's 3-1. 3 balls and a strike on Blackwood. Explorers after today or tonight will have 7 more home games remaining in the regular season, starting next Monday, the 24th. 3 balls, 1 strike. In there for a strike. And now it's a full count at 3-2. Explorers will have 3 games with Gary South Shore and 4 with Wichita here at home to close out the home part of the schedule. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Blackwood. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled it back, and we'll stay at 3-2. That ball hits the warning track or any of the grass in the outfield. You can probably keep that ball for batting practice. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Blackwood. Werdekamper to the plate. This one's popped up in the infield. Who's going to call for it? Ryan Court says, "I'll take charge," and he does. Almost where Kelgard was standing at first base, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left after 2.5. It's the Explorers nothing, Kansas City nothing. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.
$350,000 in cash and prizes Slam Championship on July 30th to win a share of over $33,000, including a $10,000 cash grand prize. Register today and every day, but make sure you're at Winnebago every Tuesday and Thursday in June and July to have a free chance to play in the Grand Slam slot tournament. Why go anywhere else when you can play for a share of $350 grand for free at Winnebago Casino Resort? Wouldn't you rather win? I-29 to exit 127, Sloan, Iowa. The tradition just got better on Thursdays at Sioux at Clark Park. Not only is it Thirsty Thursday, but it's also college night. Buy any size beer or any size Pepsi fountain soda and get one free at each or lesser value. Also, college students, Georgia.
Did you just eat?
Heading off to the third, number 1, center fielder, Maddie Johnson.
Matty Johnson leading it off here in the third inning. Looks at a strike, showed bunt, took it in there for strike one. Johnson struck out swinging in the first inning. Leads it off here in the bottom of the third, scoreless. And a breaking pitch that's down low. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Johnson, Keys, and Tassoni to bat here in the third in a scoreless game. Bobby Durant on the mound. Pops it foul. That will be end up out of play and out of the stadium for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Matty Johnson. Batting from the left side, right-hander Durant to the plate. Line foul. Down the left field line, foul. And it stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes on Matty Johnson. Robert Duran. Line drive, right field, base hit. Well, Matty Johnson leads it off with a base hit here in the third inning. Second hit for the Explorers.
Number 11,
Brian Keys had a base hit in the first inning. Stole second, but ended up at third. Explorers had the bases loaded, but could not score with 2 out. Now, Brent Keys, third baseman, Tenbrink, comes up on the edge of the grass looking for the bunt out of Keys with Johnson at first. Duran will turn and throw to first. Back is Johnson. No tag by Blackwood, the first baseman. Kansas City in the hunt as far as the wild card is concerned. They and Joplin are basically tied for that wild card spot. Keys bunts it. Good one. Up with it. And throwing to first, Duran to get the out. Sacrifice successful. It'll go 1-3 on the putout. That's the first out of the inning. And that moves Matty Johnson to second base. Rene Tassoni walked in the first inning. Kansas City is just a few hundredths of a percentage point ahead of Joplin, but basically tied for that lead right now in the wild card. There goes Matty to third. The pitch is taken, a strike. The throw not in time. Matty Johnson steals third. His 30th stolen base of the year. Strike 1 to Tassoni. He's taking all the way because Matty had such a big lead. He wasn't going to swing and spoil that situation. No balls and 1 strike on Tassoni. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Good sharp breaking pitch by Duran, and he gets ahead of Tassoni at no balls and 2 strikes. Kansas City playing back in the infield. They give up a run to get it out, which is kind of strange in a 7-inning game. Now they'll bring their infield in before the pitch. It's high over the head, and here comes Matty Johnson. He will score. It'll be a wild pitch, and the Explorers lead it 1-0. So Matty Johnson scores on a wild pitch by Duran. And the Explorers have a 1-0 lead here in the third inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Down low, and now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. On to Sony. Third start this year for Durant against the Explorers. He's been unsuccessful in his 2 previous starts. The 2-2 pitch. Tapped right in front of the plate. Marquez will pick it up. He'll throw to first in time for the out. Well, we have seen a lot of that in this series. Balls that are hit just right in front of home plate and the catcher making the play on them. And now there's 2 out. 2 out for Buck Kelgard. Struck out swinging in the first inning. So Kelgard will bat with 2 out and nobody on base. Robbie Duran, line drive toward center, broke his bat, and it will drop in there for a base hit. Part of it is up the first baseline, the handle, what's left of it, the barrel, out toward third. So Kelgard with a 2-out single. That's the third hit for the Explorers. And now Noah Perillo, walked in the first inning, will come up. Back in the old days, you'd probably tape up a bat, but I don't think you could tape that one together. You'd have to have a lot of nails. Split it in 2. So Perillo takes it outside, and it's ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes on Perillo. Kelgard with a base hit. Explorers lead it 1-0. Matty Johnson scoring on a wild pitch here in the third. 1 ball, no strikes. There goes the runner. The throw to second, way high and almost on the first base side of second, and Brock Kelgard gets a stolen base. That is his 4th stolen base of the year. That's the 3rd stolen base by the Explorers today. Explorers now with 146 stolen bases for the year. Here's a ground foul that will make its way toward the Explorers' third base dugout. So Perillo batting with 2 out. Kelgard in scoring position at second base. Explorers lead it 1-0. We're in the third. Kelgard getting his lead at second base. Duran looks back there. Now to the plate. Swing and a miss. And the inning is over. So Perillo strikes out swinging. And for Duran, that is his 3rd strikeout. So the Explorers do get a run here in the third inning. 1 run. There were 2 hits in the inning. No errors and 1 left. We've completed 3 of the first game of the doubleheader. It's the Explorers 1, Kansas City 0. You're listening to Explorers Baseball on KSCJ.